Yo, 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 yo. Hi. Post-Thanksgiving, yo. Yeah, I don't have that much energy. I still got that turkey up in me, and it's making me a little tired. But I'm going to think about energy, good energy, cranberry sauce. Happy post-Thanksgiving, y'all. Gobble, gobble, pavo, pavo. It was so banging. I hope everybody also had a wonderful Thanksgiving, being around family, familia. It's all about the familial ties, people. I hope a lot of oral traditions were passed down around the Thanksgiving table. For me, it was the regular when Rachel was conceived on this day, schmurgers years ago. Yes, I was conceived on Thanksgiving, and I hear the story every year around the Thanksgiving table. Even when strangers come to Thanksgiving, like a new someone, a significant other, it's been told. I'm not going to repeat it here, but it's nice to have been conceived on Thanksgiving. A lot of juicy things happen on Thanksgiving. That gravy, baby. Woo! Okay. There's a lot of show today. First, I want to just give thanks to my friends over at Spotify, okay? Thank you, Spotify, so much for being you, first of all, and for also inviting me to be part of this podcasters gathering, which took place in Soho. It was so cool to be in Soho. I love being in Soho. It's just very chic. So yeah, being in Soho to be part of this podcasters gathering where our insights were collected. And I love giving out my insights. I really do. There's a lot inside of here, okay? And I love sharing it. Doing this for 7 years, I've learned a lot about this space, about how to talk on the mic and what works here at Latinos Out Loud. And I also am very thankful, which will probably be the theme of the episode, to the LOLeros. The LOLeros continue to also hit me up and share feedback, which helps me sort of pave the way here. We really listen to you guys. So keep sliding in the DM and all of that. Keep hitting me up at Rachel La Loca, at We Are Latinos Out Loud. So thank you, Spotify. It was nice to be one of 8 podcasters in the room. And we all represented so many different genres, you guys. Like skateboarding podcasts, travel and leisure podcasts, like news and politics. And then there was like Latinx representation. It was great. It was great to be in that room. I'm really excited to see what unfolds with that Spotify study. And it's also nice to hear and to share that Spotify is interested in pleasing us creators. So thank you, Spotify, for listening to the creators. Now, speaking of creators, I have an amazing one here today on the show, okay? She's a sister. She is really family to me. She's very special to me. She has such a special place in my heart for so many reasons, which you've heard me talk about her on the show before. And she's been on the show before. And she is an actor. She's a writer. She's a producer. She's a stand-up comedian. And she's really making the world legendary. Please put your hands together one time for Glorelys Mora in the building.
Woo! Everybody clap.
Everybody clap.
Thank you.
Clap. You stand up.
They found
stand
out,
up
they found
and
out
clap.
I was a Gemini.
Standing O for this woman.
Those claps are very like, oh, she's a Gemini. Oh.
This is like Peter Pan. Clap at home, kids.
Please clap.
Never land. Clap. We need you to clap, everyone. You watch Peter Pan, right? Classic.
No, yeah, they're there in spirit. I feel it.
You are my Tinkerbell. You
Am
are
I?
the Tinkerbell of comedy.
Wait, what does Tinkerbell mean?
Just you sprinkle all your comedy fairy dust across the land of the United States. You're now bi-coastal.
I have been sprinkling across the from sea, from whatever this the nation.
From
yes.
sea to shining sea. Yeah.
What happened to those songs that used to bring us together? They don't make those anymore.
Yo, my kids are not
My
learning any of
land
those
is
songs.
Your land.
This land
Right?
is
They don't make these-
something from California. Right.
Yeah, it's the New York Island.
My kids, I don't even know if they know the Pledge of Allegiance. Remember, we had to do that every
Right.
morning. You went to public school, right?
I did. DOE. I'm a child of the DOE.
Me too, DOE. Number 2 pencils, all of
Wait,
that.
where did you go to school?
Yo, you really want to know?
Yeah.
Okay, Brooklyn, stand up. PS 255. All right.
Wow.
PS 255. IS 234. Yeah, South Brooklyn.
Oh,
What?
Everything Brooklyn?
Everything Brooklyn.
Wow, Rachel.
To college.
I feel like every time I do one of my podcasts with one of my really good friends, I'm still learning about them
I
in
love
real
this.
time.
And I love a good Q&A. So feel free at any point of this Q&A where I'm supposed to be leading the Q to give me a Q
Oh my
and
God,
I'll give you
I
an
always
A.
do that in everyone's podcast. I end up like asking them questions.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I always do that. I always do that.
I never get asked questions. Like,
Yeah, but
seriously.
so you're Brooklyn through and through.
Through and through, thick
But
and
you
thin,
aren't
Brook
you
now.
in like the LES now or like
Upper East Side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right, look.
Is that your level up? We were just talking about the level up in different boroughs. Is that your level up from Brooklyn?
Nah, son, I don't look at it that way
Okay.
because I miss Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm there all the time. My parents are still there, Sheepshead Bay, and I do love going there. I'm like, oh, this is a nice escape from the craziness of the city. Now, don't get it twisted. I love me some NYC, okay? NYC. Yeah, we're just doing show tunes today.
Yeah,
that
I'm
was
like-
from Annie.
Yeah,
And
damn. Well, I only have a limited references, so let's not get too crazy.
I love references. You are now a comedy reference. I just want to let you know
comedy,
that.
Yeah, but I don't have. I need to get a little bit deeper in the musical theater. Like I was in Little Shop of Horrors in high school.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was a dentist.
Feed me, Shima.
Yeah, I was the dentist.
You
And
played the dentist.
yeah, and my audition piece was Roxy from Chicago.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
A role temporarily held by a Latina, Sofia Vergara. I actually saw her play Roxy in Chicago. And
that's
here's an
amazing.
anecdotal story. I love storytelling.
No, yeah.
So I was working for People in Espanol at the time. And so we were there seeing the show. And a younger Sofia Vergara was on stage talking about she may have to go back to LA because a pilot that she was in just got bought.
yeah.
Modern Family. I just dated myself. But
Yeah.
yes, she was so
No,
excited
yeah.
about Modern Family, which like made her career.
Yeah.
Like she was a successful actress and she then became the highest TV paid Latina.
Isn't that crazy?
Did that
Like,
make sense?
You just
You
be
know what I
like,
mean.
oh, I'm gonna go to LA for this small project, and then it becomes your entire thing.
Modern Family.
Yeah. Even though the people behind the camera were dragging me from moving to LA, sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you got to do it.
Should we just segue into that first? Because there's a lot that I want.
you
I have a
can't-
whole index card.
Let's-
and not a small one. This is like the big
Yeah.
index card
Let's-
full of talking points.
Let's go wherever it goes, Rachel. That's what the podcast is for.
Let's talk about where you went. You went to LA.
I moved to Los Angeles in September.
Okay, let's go ahead.
I've been going back and forth this whole year. I've been going back and forth for a few years, but this year I went the most back and forth. And I went during that time we went together to, it was in February, I think.
For Dominican Independence Weekend.
Yeah, we went over there to, a bunch of people were doing things and we just all like connected.
That was like the most fun time of my life.
It was fun.
I mean, aside from having my kids and stuff, but like,
Yeah. Which we know that you love.
I do love my
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
That was probably second. Like, everything else, life events are great, but like the energy felt in LA over that weekend because so many New Yorkers were out there. And shout out to all the like New Yorkers in LA also that like represented for the live show. That was amazing. We need to do that again in February.
Well, I live there now, so I'm going to be there.
That's right.
Yeah.
When you moved, when I got the news that you were moving to LA, I cried a little.
Really? Why? Guys, it's just a plane ride. I feel like everyone's making it seem bigger than what it is.
Okay, when your friend moves away to a different time zone, it's not easy.
No, you're right. You're
I
right.
love you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Rachel. Yeah, but like, I guess for me, like, I don't want to think, like, this is a process I'm going through in real time. So everyone keeps like, oh, like, every time I'm like in LA, they're like, oh, when are you going to be? Like, there's just so many questions, and I'm literally trying to figure it out as I go. So like,
You're
everyone's
doing
like,
a great job.
thank you. But everyone's like, you moved to LA. I'm like, I promise you, I have not changed. Like, I came back like, oh, look at you, superstar. I'm like, I've only.
Why you gotta say that to her?
No, like,
What is that?
I'll be around comics and they be like, oh, you the Los Angeles. I'm like, it's only been 4 weeks. Also, why don't you like any of my posts? I didn't know you were looking at my page like that.
Oh, toma.
Yeah, but it's, I'm just trying to like I feel like I thought I found myself. I guess I'm just trying to find myself again. Does it ever stop, Rachel? I don't know.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I have a few years on you, and I'm still like, there's a new chapter unfolding of my life right now.
There's always a new chapter.
And I'm still trying to find myself. And you know what I've been doing a lot, LOLeros and Glory and everyone else here? Redefining terms. Terms that I thought I had the definition for that I don't know if I should have locked in on that definition because that term means something different now at this juncture, at this stage of my life. Love is being redefined.
I'm redefining love too.
What does that
Sorry,
mean?
I
for you?
sound like a bitter person.
No,
I
and-
just think that,
what
you
does that
know, where I am in my life, I'm like, again, we talked about, did we go to the rom-com thing or that was off camera?
That's okay. You could bring it on camera.
I am such a like romantic, like I love love. I want to be with my
love love, too.
soulmate. But then you get older and you're like, oh my God, all this stuff was kind of like a facade. Like people are very flawed. Even the people you love, your best friends, your family, everyone's gonna piss you off. And it's just kind of like, love is not this like thing, this like fairy tale. And I feel bad because some people do get that, but it's just not that. And I guess I'm like redefining like what that looks like, what long-term companionship looks like for me in the
Yes.
future. or like love across the board. So I guess like, sorry, we just got really, really rom-com-y.
It's
But
okay.
yeah, I'm like, I think it's cool for like right now, like before the year 2024 is on the corner. So like what I like to do during the holiday season is plan what I want my life to look like next year. And I'm redefining like what success means, what
Good
love
one.
means. Yeah, like all these things of like you think you want these things, but it's like, is it what you want? Is it what you thought you wanted or like what you actually want?
Okay, let's talk about success. Let's get granular because
Yeah.
you said something really interesting. Like, what is your definition of success, Glory?
I feel like, well, we just did, me, Sasha, we just did Moody Soñando United Palace.
Bruh.
And I feel like that for me is one of the most successful things I'll ever. Sorry, I have like a little persistent cough. It's not COVID.
It's okay. I am
yeah.
certified
Okay.
in CPR if anything is needed, mouth to mouth.
I appreciate
or
that. Yeah. So I think success for me, like in my comedy career, that was successful for me.
Okay,
Like,
let's not glance or glaze or do anything that starts with GL over this because you were part of the New York Comedy Festival.
yes, I was. I was.
This is incredible, you guys. Now, look, the majority of the acts in the New York Comedy Festival annually, which shout out to the New York Comedy Festival, and it has to do with the ratio of Latinos in comedy. Latinos are not the most like there's not a big number of Latinos AEXY in the New York Comedy Festival. So that's a huge accolade. I just want to give you
Yeah,
some
I think there were
flowers.
only like maybe a few, very, very limited amount of shows.
And this has been
Yeah.
historically. I was in the New York Comedy Festival back in 17, and then we did it, for Room 28, and for the podcast with Mr.
Yeah.
Nueva up, and Dee was a part of
Yeah.
that as well. It was so crazy, but like I love that they're showing us love, but we're just not in abundance in the festival, right? So I just want to
But
give
also
you a
that-
lot of
also
flowers.
thank you. Flowers taken.
Here's the bouquets.
But there's also not a lot of Latino comics in the comedy scene. Like I really am maybe one of very limited Latinas in comedy in New York City.
Yeah.
So like, I'm really proud of the work that I've been able to do, but there are not a lot of stand-up Latinas in the scene. Like it's maybe like I don't want to say like prominent because people come in and out, but like when people are always booking shows, like it's really hard to think of Latina women to book sometimes.
Oof.
Yeah. So like it's just a problem across the industry and the scene in general. But I did go to the Latina Comedy Festival in October.
In Chicago?
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
it was I think the second annual festival, but it was the first time where I was like, where I realized that I actually don't have a lot of opportunities in the comedy scene as a Latina woman. Like this was the first time I was like, oh, like this is a Latina community. I've never actually been. I'm just so in the weeds of it and like just creating like broader communities and doing a bunch of stuff that I didn't realize that I never actually did like an all Latina show.
Wow.
Until that point, I was like, oh wow, this feels very different and very safe.
That sounds
Yeah.
magical.
It was really nice. It was nice to be there. It was nice to be one of the headliners. It was nice to represent New York and be like, this is what New York has to offer.
Gra.
And we're like, don't play with us. It was me and Shadi and
Shout out to Shadi
yeah,
Diaz.
Shadi Diaz. We're pretty
Love me
much
some Shadi Diaz, boy.
yeah, like it's not like I said, it's not a lot of us that are out there in the scene.
So back to your definition of success. At this stage of the game, could you encapsulate what that sounds like? Or what's going to be your definition of success for 2024?
Well, I just also like I feel like I'm somebody that's always working towards something, and I've been having conversations with myself about, okay, girl, like at what point do you? Because sometimes when you're living your dream, you don't realize it, and you're like, it's not enough. I'm like, at what point do you say, hey, like I'm cool with what I have, and if anything else happens after, that's cool too. And I think that
Bonus.
yeah, like for me, like what we did at United Palace was the epitome of what success could be. Like for me, it's like I'm a Dominican girl from the Heights, from Uptown, and I never saw someone like me in the comedy scene. That's why I got into stand-up comedy. Well, mostly because I was like hitting a wall in life. I'm like, I'm gonna lose my mind. I need an outlet. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try this thing. And I was like, when I was in the scene and coming into it, I was like, I didn't see representation. So I'm like, what we did was create a new path for anybody that wants to try stand-up. So I'm already a success. Like I'm already, I did something. Like I mean something to this community, to this world. So anything that happens after is great, but like it's also a weird time to like be mega successful because everything gets you canceled and you have to represent so many things for people. I'm like, I don't want that extra pressure on me. So I think success for me next year is balanced.
First of all, congratulations on the United
Thank
Palace.
you.
I really tried everything I could to go, but
It's
babysitting
okay,
during
Rachel.
the
You've been
week.
at mad shows. It's also
I do
really
be
cool.
at
Yeah.
shows. I'll be outside. I'll be in the audience too, and I don't
Yeah.
announce myself or anything. I just show up, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm here. You
You've
know
been
what I
at
mean?
mad shows. It's shows that I've needed you at. Like I've had to do so many bringers in my career, and I'm like, who can I call these 6 people so I could perform it tonight for 5 minutes? Like, you're good. You don't owe us anything.
Thank you for saying that because I really
Yeah.
love going to shows. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really get out much, but when I do go out, my leisurely activities are going to see my friends perform. I know it's going to be a good time,
Yeah,
and
we-
it checks so many boxes.
Yeah.
We have to represent for each other. You know, let's just plug the messages. There's going to be a bunch of PSAs, especially to the
that's fine,
comedians
yeah.
out there, okay?
Yeah.
We need to go to each other's shows.
But the comedians, we do be going. Like, stand up, I feel like I've never been to a show where my friends didn't show up. Like,
Yeah.
everyone shows up. I do feel like, I think that maybe audience members and people from the community need to go to more shows.
Okay.
But it's also an issue of like they don't know the shows are going on. So like that was also a big part of Morir Soñando, doing the right advertising, the right marketing, so that Dominican, it's not just a Dominican show, but like so the people from the community knows that this is going on.
Right.
'Cause I think a lot of the time art is just reserved for people that have a certain privilege or knowledge. Like we're in the game, so we know to support these things, but like I wanted like the tias to come out and like the cousins and like the men that are uptown in their mom's apartments, no shade, to come watch the show.
You heard that?
Sorry.
No, I understand that too, but I feel as a creative community, we need to continue or further the reposting, the sharing, the hey, check out my homegirl. Like this has to be real cyclical in order for us to like win as Latinos.
Yeah, and I think that was like the best part of what we did with Morir Soñando. Like it was a group project and everybody in the group project showed up. And I'm not a person that loves teamwork because there's a lot of egos sometimes involved in teamwork. And I'm very like, you know, when it comes to the culture, it can get really hard to create something that's really genuine sometimes without people like getting, you know, like I need to be the leader of this, whatever. But like Johanna from Pop Sugar, she showed up. She wrote the article.
Yes.
Led from Uptown Collective.
Shout out to Led Black.
He connected us to the venue. Me and Sasha worked tirelessly to make sure we got the right comics. The comics showed up. The staff showed up. The community showed up. And it was like, this is what happens when everybody's on the same page. Yeah. Like, it's not even, it's just a beginning for like this. Sorry, I'm getting like chills talking about it because it's like, oh my God, I can't believe we did that. But like, it's just a beginning of where this is gonna go. And it feels really special to have everybody, like even these comics that are super established, like Ida Rodriguez and Ia Lara, to say, hey, like I'm gonna pop through and support this thing. Like when I say everybody showed up, it was a perfect event.
We really want Ida on the show.
So let's get her on here.
We really want you, Ida. We love
Yeah.
you. We love your book. And every view that you share, it's amazing when you get to like hear her messaging because
Yeah.
she resonates. Like she'll pick a topic and talk about it on her Instagram
I can't
page.
believe you haven't gotten her on the show yet.
So I slid in her DM, you
Yeah.
know, but maybe we can talk outside of this recording because I'd love to have her in this seat as well.
Yeah, she has her book that she's promoting.
Yeah.
Legitimate Kid. I think she's on tour with it right now. And you know, when you go to LA in March, maybe we could get her on there, you know.
That would
But
be
yeah, she's been amazing. She's been super. It's always nice when like the OG comedians. I would say like she's like an OG.
Yeah, she's been doing it.
Like people that you look up to when they say, "Hey, like I'm gonna help you out with this," you know, like she's always shouting on Morir Soñando or her shows. So it's like, oh my God, like you think this is important? So it just feels good to have that respect. You know, Gina Berjon was also in the building.
Shout out to Gina Brillon,
Yeah,
who's
like-
going to be a guest at our live show at Brooklyn College on December 5th. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to have her back on the show.
So I think that's like, it's really hard sometimes, like, to get support, but like I haven't had that issue when it comes to Morir Soñando. Like everybody, I haven't had an issue of like people not supporting. Like everybody
Amazing.
has been part of it. So it's like, so you know, we're gonna continue doing that, and just keep giving back to the community, which is why I'm a servant of the community.
Yeah.
Like even with my art, like I'm just a servant of people. So everyone's like, oh, why are things happening for Gloria? Like why is she successful? It's like I really care about people and like the messaging that I'm putting out there. That's why I'm like super cautious. Sometimes I do say stupid shit, but I'm trying to be more cautious about what I say because I really like my comedy it helped me heal myself. So I want to help other people like find some kind of healing in the comedy.
It's beautiful. And your mother be coming to your show.
Oh yeah, she be at every show. Yeah, my mom is like a local celebrity. Like people be like, "Oh, I'm with Glorelys' mom." I'm like, "What?" Like, yeah,
Your mother's no joke. Your family actually rolls deep to your shows.
they do. Yeah,
They're fully supportive. So, okay, you left corporate. You had a corporate gig before all this started.
I did.
Talk about that transition. How did your family accept that shift?
My family knows that I just do whatever I want. And part of it is like they don't like that. Like my dad, he's a Taurus. He's very much like follow the. My parents are both Earth signs, so they are not rule breakers.
Okay.
They're like follow the rules, stick to the rules, don't do anything outside of it. Like we don't have time for that. So like my dad is like, why are you always quitting your jobs? And my mom is like, my mom is way more. She's always been supportive of all. I'm a Gemini, so I've had like 20 career changes. So she's always been like, as long as you're happy, do whatever you want, which I think is really important in a parent to instill in their kids. You as a great mother, it's like people should have the opportunity to explore what they want to do before they settle down into, I guess, a long-term career. But I was in corporate. I was making 6 figures. I talk about this all the time. How like, my like right now what I'm exploring in my comedy is my family's story. So like my grandma came here with nothing
From DR.
from Dominican Republic. She came here with nothing. My mom came here shortly, like a few years after. She didn't speak English. She worked at Burger King, but she somehow found like a way to learn the language and get a master's. So like these women are not playing. So I feel like an obligation to make sure that what my grandmother wanted, like I guess we're talking about success, what my grandmother wanted accomplished, I'm doing that. So like it's like they may not understand what I'm doing, but I think now it's starting to come together, right? So like something like a United Palace is like, okay, this is a big theater. Everyone's celebrating them. I don't know what they're talking about because my grandparents come to my show, but they speak English, but they're not gonna understand like the metaphors or the misdirects, whatever. For them, that's like, okay, my granddaughter's doing something. But I had
la tarima, mi nieta, mírala.
right. I remember you were at that show. You've been in so many like important parts of my career. You were at that. It was your show. It was the autism awareness show where my grandparents came.
Oh yes.
And then they stood up at the end of the show. I don't know why. They were like, "This is my granddaughter," and everybody was like, "All right, sit down."
It was so cute.
Yeah.
I love, and you just touched on something that I think we both do. We both do comedy for the community. It's very important for me to uplift the community wherever possible. We've worked with several nonprofits. Glory was also in a commercial for Somos, which is a medical nonprofit, and my son was in that commercial. She played his mom.
Yeah, it was his mom. Girl, we worked so much together.
Yes, we have.
Yeah,
and yes, we will continue to.
And then I was gonna say, we were talking about my corporate career. You were actually part of. I remember. So again, I'm a Gemini.
I love this. I love reminiscing.
Yeah, I talk in like zigzag.
I love reminiscing so much. Continue.
Yeah, as some people in the back and the cast and crew can see. But I was working at this advertising agency. So before I was a comic, I was in the trajectory to become like a marketing exec, right?
Yes.
Which you were in that. I think you worked in that role in the past.
Yes.
And I used to always wonder, like, why am I in this job? Like, I hate these people. But I learned so much about marketing that has helped me become a great, successful, independent artist.
Oh, preach.
Yeah.
Preach. This is something that also unfolded and became ever present to me later on in life. I was in the same position. Showing up to the office, I was an associate director of promotions for a big brand, and I would work countless hours, do a lot of traveling.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I didn't like hate the people I worked with, but like I didn't feel fulfilled.
Yeah, the culture, I had issues with culture.
The culture, the politics of corporate America and the maneuvering and the strikes against us as Latinas, as females, in a space that was also dominated by men, like in comedy. It's really, there's an act, there's like a strategy behind maneuvering the space and wanting the promotion.
Yeah.
Getting that next promotion.
And that was the thing for me. I could never get promoted. And I didn't understand why.
The wage gap. I mean, there's so many things that we have against us on that, like you said, trajectory. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. And then I think that's why I had to leave my last job. It was just like, I just couldn't fit in. Like, I was only good for like a certain role until like they didn't want me. I don't know. Part of it, I always look back. I'm like, okay, maybe, I'm not going to lie. I do have an attitude problem sometimes. But that's like a me rebellions against the system. Like I don't do well with authority. So that's something that I'm working on in my own personal journey. But a lot of the times women of color in these offices have so many microaggressions that are like done to them that it's just a gaslighting experience. So I was like, I had this ally at the job. I keep talking about him. I said I wasn't gonna talk about him no more. But at my
Let it
last
out.
yeah, like at my last job before, I had two jobs before I became a comic, but I had an ally at the job, and I thought he was my friend. Like I was like, oh my god, like we're both what's the word when you're mistreated? We're both like mistreated in the workplace, whatever. So I would open up to him about like Mercury retrograde and all my crystal shit, you know, like whatever astrology. And he would open up too. He's like, "Oh, I always pull up a tarot card before I do our one-on-one." So like,
Oh.
I thought it was like a culture like that. We were like, "Oh, we were cool." So I remember during that time, I started becoming really. I became the president of this ERG group, the Adelante group.
Employee resource group?
Yeah, and I started. I got really passionate about that because, like, oh my god, I can create events that can bring people together.
Yes.
That's where I learned the skill set of how to produce a comedy show. At that, doing that like volunteer stuff. So I was really passionate about it because during my day job, I was just working on like end of life lung cancer accounts. So I was like, this is really sad. This other thing helps me to get my mind off of it, and I'm having a good time.
Balance.
That's when I remember that event was really important. It's like I need to get Juan Bago here. I need to get Rachel La Loca here. We had Joanna Hausman as one of the speakers.
I
I don't know if you remember that event.
Yes,
The-
I do.
the
It was at BuzzFeed offices.
That
Yep.
was that
Cat Lazo.
yeah, and I had already gotten fired at the time. But I was like, I'm gonna still do this event because I put this shit together. You're not about to like benefit off
It
of
was
my
a
shit.
great event,
I
girl.
know, girl.
It was
I
amazing.
put it together.
Yo, I mean, that was early on in our friendship.
Yeah, it was. I think that's when we first started. Like, I had already been around you. I remember my mom. Like, there was like an event with Lin Manuel that I was at. My mom was like, "You gotta meet him." I was like, "I don't know who that man is." Then years later, he came out with Hamilton. I was like, "Oh, I wish I would have said hi to him."
Oh, was it the event at the Green Space, the 100th episode of Latinos Out Loud?
I don't know. I just know that I just used to be around because like the network and the Latino Entertainment Network in New York is kind of really small. So like I used to be a volunteer for the New York Latino Film Festival, and I think
Yeah.
I knew you from there.
Oh, yeah.
Or I might have interviewed you. But that event, that BuzzFeed event, was really important because is where I learned the skill set of how to put an event together. It was my
Yes.
first time doing that. But my boss at the time, like he just didn't like that I was like having some type of leadership at the company. So
Sounds like a hater.
yeah, so like he wrote an email with like the SVP and the VP saying that like I had an attitude problem and that I was too passionate about Adelante that I can't mention Mercury retrograde at work anymore. And I'm like, okay, so we have we're like super intimate in our one-on-ones. Like I thought we had a friendship and you went behind my back to throw me under the bus to like tell HR that I was talking about Mercury retrograde when you're talking about tarot cards. So like I told him to suck my dick like
Oh
in
my
real time.
God.
And then I got fired from my job for cursing him out.
Wow. Okay.
And
So
that's kind of like what started my comedy career because I was like, okay, I'm a very introspective person. I was making six figures. I was like, oh my God, I fucked up. Like this is the dream to make six figures and have a job. But then you realize later the economy gets fucked up and you're like, actually, I don't even know what the dream is anymore.
I do want to say I agree with you in that all of that was a lot of skill preparation and
Everything, yeah.
plays into what we both do today. I put together electronic press kits blindfolded.
Yeah.
You know, and now to really market our brands, we need all these tools that I think comics creatives normally outsource and pay people
Yeah.
to do. We have the skill set to do it.
I do it with my eyes closed. I'm like, you need a what? Boom, boom. Like I put
Word.
everything together. Like I guess people don't understand that. Like, how are you getting it done? It's like my mind has been already formally trained in a different career. So it's like in the back of my mind.
I'm also appreciative as a marketer or a former marketer in like getting like to understand the top DMAs, you know, across the country, getting to know those markets.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll agree in that like when you bring your comedy to those markets, it's a different cultural experience.
100%. Like
Right?
I just did Buffalo a few weeks ago. And my comedy was fine, but I had to learn a different demographic.
Yeah.
Like it's just like outside of we were talking about it off camera, like outside of New York. In New York, we understand like the nuances of culture and race and ethnicity, but when you leave the city, it's very like it's not like that.
No.
So I was like, okay, where does my comedy fit? Like I didn't even go into my Dominican jokes. I'm like, I only got 5 minutes. Like, I don't have
There's-
time to like, explain this to you in 5 minutes.
There's also like, the demographics part of it, and then there's the psychographics part of it, where like, people in these other markets also like they're affected by the lack of public transportation, for example. Like
Right, so
a
my
market
little-
like New York is different than like Miami. Like we have buses and trains that'll take you to anywhere in the city within like 15 to 30 minutes. Miami's different. LA is different, right?
Yeah, so I have to change not
All
all of
those
my jokes, but I have
nuances.
to like my jokes about being from I say I'm from Dyke. What did I forgot the joke already. But I used to say I'm from the Dominican Republic, the last up on the A train.
I've heard you
Which
say that.
was really funny in New York, but nobody knows what that is. And yeah, they're like
Ain't nobody know the last stop is Dyke on
Right.
the A train
But it's
out
like,
in
it
like
takes you-
Tuscaloosa.
right.
You know?
They're like they don't know that. But yeah, like the job set me up. Like that was like years ago. I don't know what year we were in. That was like in 2012 that I left that job. 2018. No, I left that job in 2017 or something like that.
Wow.
So it's been a long time.
We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, it's been like half a decade.
Well, watching you evolve is beautiful.
Thank you. Everybody keeps saying that. I'm like, oh my God. I also don't want anyone to like, I'm at the end of the day, like I'm just a regular person from the Heights. And I know that sounds crazy, but I don't want anyone to like project things onto me or like, I'm still the same person I was.
Whatever.
In-
You know what?
I
Let them,
promise.
Glory. Let them talk, say. Well, you know who you are. I know who you are. The
Yeah.
real ones know who you are.
Yeah, but it's just like I'm still like part of the community. I'm not gonna like let Hollywood like become one of those people that like I'm not no shade to J-Lo, but I'm not gonna like completely ignore the people that are part of my community that help me
Right.
to like my job is what I'm working on now is trying to decide how do I become like even before I left the house today, I'm like, I wanna do like maybe what Tyler Perry did more for uptown New York, where it's like, it's really like you're gonna always face these battles of microaggressions no matter where you go. And I'm like, maybe I just gotta create my own shit. And like maybe
Word.
it's gonna take 10 times more work. But I'm just tired of fighting with people. Like I really am. And I'm tired of having to fight for my place in productions or in the world. And it's like, if your racism makes you feel better, or if the way that you mistreat people, or if you really don't feel like you have a story in Caribbean Latinos, that's fine. I'm gonna find a way to create that anyways, because these stories that you keep putting out are old. Nobody wants like they're still important, but like they're just the same template. Like people want originality. So that's where I am right now. Like I'm like, all right, how much balls do I have to actually be a Tyler Perry or a Oprah or somebody that creates their own production studio? Which Jennifer Lopez has her own production. That's why she's that successful, because she's like, I'm gonna just make my own movies. Like I'm gonna be part of. She has New Yorican Production, I think it's called.
Yep.
So I think that's where I'm at right now. It's like I really am tired of fighting people, Rachel. Like I really am. I'm gonna play the game, but bitch is tired. Cause I'm very much like suck my dick type of person. Like the way that I told my boss, I will tell that to anybody. And people are not cool with that kind of spirit. Like I think there's a time and a place to like, play by the rules and do that stuff. But when you're actually being mistreated at work or like in different places, like I just don't have time for that shit
I
anymore.
need to say that more often.
Yeah.
Suck my dick.
Well, don't get fired, Rachel. I got fired. And I think that's why I
Suck
have
my
like a-
dick.
Yeah.
How does it sound? It doesn't sound right. I don't say this a lot. So can you teach me how to say it?
Well, it's a New York, like like
Suck my dick.
Yeah, like that.
Like that?
Yeah, that's
Suck my dick.
yeah, that's how I said it to my boss. I was like, yo, y'all can suck my dick. Y'all got
My
2 weeks to
dick.
replace. You gotta do the whole like thing, the whole
Suck
X
my
thing.
dick.
And then I was like, oh my God,
I'm
I
gonna
just
practice.
I just lost my 6-figure job. But I think that's why I have a different type of like when I got into comedy, I have a different type of fearlessness because I already lost the thing that I was most afraid of losing, which was like this dream of like
Right.
getting 6 figures and
The
like
security,
Yeah.
the 401k.
and then you realize none of that shit is secure.
Word.
None of it is secure. So
Suck my dick.
yeah. Let's not name that episode.
Okay, sorry. I'm just like now I want to practice because it still doesn't sound right in my head. It sounds
Well,
too
let
nice.
someone get really upset. It'll come out naturally. Going to live events is very like we were talking earlier. Like I don't really have the opportunity. When I was young, I didn't have the opportunity to go to movies or to go to live events. If I went to a live event, it was such an important cultural moment. And my mom is a teacher. She's like, you got to watch this. So like I remember going to see In the Heights live, and maybe one other play, but I can't remember it. And then when I started like, being a young adult, a young professional, I remember going to Room 28. You guys had this huge show at Museo del Barrio.
That's right. That was like 2017.
I remember being there and I was like, wow, I think this is when I was like, like before you can do something, you don't think it's possible. So I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, they got the entire community to come out. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're in it, you just kind of like, oh, this is a show. We got to do it. Like, everyone's getting on my nerves. I know what it's like to get produce events. I get it. But I remember that being one of the first shows. And I talked about it at the United Palace of like, hey, like, just because you see somebody else doing it does not mean that you don't have permission to do it as well. Like, you're seeing people do this. So I remember you guys, when you live and you get to express yourself, it gives other people permission to do that as well. So I remember I gave you guys a shout out, and I always will give you a shout out, Rachel, because you did that show and then you produced Herlarious. So I remember July 7th or 15th. It was July 15th because all of my important comedy days ended on 15th. July 15th of 2018. Yeah, math nerd over here. You put on Herlarious. I think it might have been the first one.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, I want you to open up my show. And I remember like being like I was like, girl, I'm not about to ruin your production, your work, your heart. I can't open your show. And you're like, no, you threw me in there.
I did.
And that was one of my first, I had done like a few little shows here. I remember like going to mics and making them like a big production. And now I'm like, I can't believe I did that. But that was one of my first real comedy shows. And if it wasn't for that show, I'm sure I would have gotten up anyways. But like, you gave me the confidence to be like, oh no, you're a comic now. Go. And I remember, like, I was so shy. Like, I remember, like, performing. I hated my jeans. Oh, my God. I had this.
You looked so good up there. Stop. At the Triad Theater.
Oh, my God.
Off Broadway.
Well, it was Soho Playhouse.
Soho Playhouse.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Also, an iconic theater in New York. I think the first off-Broadway theater in New York.
Yeah. So I was
in New York City.
You had me up there performing, and I was
Or is that the Cherry Lane Theater? One of those theaters.
It's live events.
I'm misquoting the quote.
Really, it's okay. It's really important to have people go to these live events, especially now. Like, everyone's on the internet. Like, it was just a moment. So I'm just, you gave me flowers. I'm giving you flowers back.
That is so special, Glory. Yeah. I'll never forget that show. I'll never forget what, pushing you gave to me. Because it's also cyclical. I put out the energy that I want in return, and all of us together up there, we really made herstory.
And you've had so many amazing people. You had Z-Way on one of your shows.
Yes.
D Nasty.
Yeah.
I met D Nasty because I got to work with her on your show. So I mean, there's just so many life-changing things that you've been a part of. I think all of us have been a part of each other, and I think that's why a community is so important, because when you have the right community, we're not all gonna be like. Part of the game is like some people are up, some people are, when you say up and down, it's like relative. Like, we just give to each other. Like, hey, like, here's your turn. Pass the baton. Pass the baton. But I don't want to work with people that don't pass the baton. Like, I like.
That's what I meant earlier.
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to. It's really important. No matter what the size of your baton is, you could still pass it. There's still room on there for others to do that fun, like, fist on fist thing on the baton.
But everyone uses the baton for different reasons. It's like, maybe I go on and create a production company, and you go on and you keep doing the live shows, or whatever we have to do, and then we all give each other opportunities.
We can still cross-pollinate.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I'm like, that's why I like to be around people like that.
I love what you're doing. Everything that we've been a part of together has added to the fabric of, like, what I am trying to create with this comedy thing. And we're all working, like, we've all carved out our niches, and together this quilt is beautiful. Like,
I think we're doing a great job.
It's an amazing comforter. It keeps you warm in these cold fall and winter days.
And every time I come back home, I know I'm in LA, but when I come back home, I feel like I'm coming back to, like, community, or like very intentional, like, curated, fun people that I'm around.
Okay, you're also around a lot of fun people at NGL Me Too.
I am. I love their family. Ben De Jesus has also been a big champion of mine. Like,
Shout out to Ben.
When I first started, I remember he's like, you're a star. You're a star. And there have been times, everybody in their own, I'm an independent artist. So, like, all the money I make, at that time, was coming from comedy. So I was just like, there were times when I was, like, super broke, and I'm still sending out my newsletters, and Ben would reply back like, yo, like, you're gonna make it. Like, this is really inspiring. And, like, people like that just keep championing you.
Yes.
Even, like, when you haven't made it, because this journey is hard. And I be having moments I'm like, okay, where in this highway am I getting off at? Because a bitch is traffic. I'm tired of driving. I didn't have a permit, but that's a great metaphor. I'm like, maybe I'm gonna get off on this highway. But people are like, no, just stay on the highway, get to, like, wherever. And he's one of those people that definitely has kept me going. Just by his motive. He's such a great motivational person.
He sure is. And brilliance in his craft.
Yeah.
Great director.
He sees the vision.
Yeah.
So I've been working with NGL Me Too. I have a podcast with them. So I'm on one of the podcasts called Girl Let Me Tell You. There's two podcasts. There's 3 Gs and Girl Let Me Tell You.
Yes.
And it's been really nice because Girl Let Me Tell You helps me to explore my relationship with my Latinidad. Like I don't normally, I know we're on Latinos Out Loud, but like I don't normally just do a lot of Latino oriented projects because I feel like a lot of the times they exclude Caribbean women. And like they also want like a certain type of like I feel like we have to show up as Latinos a certain type of way in the media. And like I'm a comic, so like I really am showing up like myself. Like if this is the mood that I have today, that's the mood that y'all gonna get. And that could be kind of hard when they want like a more maybe polished, like just in general, like in the entertainment industry, they want a certain type of Latina. Does that make sense? Like there's no shade to Sofia Vergara, she's doing her thing, but like they want the Sofia Vergaras. Like
Money.
right.
That's my Sofia Vergara impression from Modern Family.
And even if like I know that J Lo, I have a love hate relationship with her, but like something I admire about her is that as a Caribbean Latina, like she really carved her own path because it's really hard to be a Latina in this industry and like be yourself because I feel like you always have to fit into somebody else's.
Right. I guess we're programmed to conform
Yeah.
to the mold that's been created for Latinas in
Yeah.
show business.
But what I like about the show that they let me be myself. They're like, I'm like the maybe not the first, but like one of many of I'm a chill girl. Like I am loud, but you know, I'm just not like always like rah rah. Like it's hard for me to be on like that. And I get that feedback all the time from like competitions or like a lot of Latino events where it's like, oh, you're missing something. I'm like, because I don't know, like does that make sense, Rachel, what I'm saying? Like sometimes I feel like I'm just not Latina enough. Like I feel like I'm just not. And maybe it's because I was born in New York. So like I have a little bit of more like, I don't know, like it's not like I'm just not Latina enough.
I will just say this. You being you is winning.
That's what I said. I just want to be myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's so many moody bitches out there. And I'm representing for the moody bitches, the Geminis, the smart girls. It's also really hard because sometimes in entertainment, they want to reflect certain experiences and certain lifestyles. And I feel like as someone that went to college and came back to the hood, sometimes that experience is kind of ostracized, even though they tell us go to college. And so like when I'm speaking and I'm like dating these people and I'm like, hey, like using these regular words that are, to them are SAT words, they're like, oh, you're doing too much or like you're weird. So I just, as a Gemini, I just am constantly getting feedback about who you should be, who you're not. And I'm just tired. It is annoying. So like I went on a rant, but this podcast had helped, the podcast I'm on helps me to really explore my relationship with Latinidad, explore the relationship within like, you know, also privileges. Like these are I'm working with my two co-hosts are super amazing. I love them. We grew up in different lifestyles. Like they grew up with a lot of support from their family. My family is supportive, but we were still surviving. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of families in New York are like, we're still surviving. Like they, you know, they're a little bit more assimilated into the, I guess, American fabric, if that's even a thing, versus me with like, I'm very much still a Dominican girl. Like I am Dominican American. So like, it's just we're navigating a lot. And like a lot, and I talk about in the podcast, like a lot of what's represented in Latinidad, when we leave here, when we leave Queens today, it's always Mexican and maybe Colombian and maybe a few others, but like the Southern American Latinos, the Caribbean Latinos, they don't get representation sometimes. But you know, obviously Latinos Out Loud is one of the outliers that does that, but
we really try to invite everybody to this party. I think what we've created here at LOL is universal across Latinidad, and I hear that when we go to the different markets.
Absolutely.
Because what we talk about here is relevant no matter where you're from, what you celebrate. Okay, I want to talk about Netflix.
Oh yeah, I did a thing with Netflix. I've been so if you follow me online, I be lying a lot. But it's part of the comedy.
Tell them about, okay, wait, we got to talk about the whole Rihanna lies and everything.
I be lying. It's not my fault. Like, part of my craft is to help people get better. They need to be better at constructive media digesting.
Oh. So you're teaching a lesson.
I'm teaching Americans a lesson on critical thinking. So I have made a post. I always do like my walk and talk post, where I just walk. And like after the Super Bowl, I had put like just one text. It was a regular video, but I put the text like Rihanna speaks out after the Super Bowl, and that shit got like 5 million views to the point where I was recognized in an Uber in LA. Yeah,
my gosh, I
by
love
somebody
that.
else that went viral. I'm like, okay, this LA is just, it feels like a fun house mirror. But yeah, I did that, and then I pretended to be Rihanna coming out of the Triad Theater. I think at one of the Herlarious shows.
That's so great that
Yeah.
footage is coming out the Triad Theater when she was ducking the cameras.
And they were like, how did Rihanna
I
get...
remember you making that video.
Yeah, I was like, everyone pretend I'm Rihanna. They're like, Rihanna. Another 5, I was back to back 5 million. And but I also don't want to be like a caricature of Rihanna and like that's just all that I'm known for, because then people will start coming to the comedy shows for that. I was like, so I kind of like backed off of it. But I am gonna reach out to her team, see if there's some collaboration we could do.
This is
But
so great.
yeah, I did that, and then also I lie a lot on the internet. So that's Rihanna, one of the lies. The other ones, I've always been photoshopping my Netflix special since I started.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been doing that. But then when I went to LA in September, I got an email from Netflix.
What?
I did. And
Tell us more.
I was like, somebody, and you never know who's watching you. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
So I was like,
Yep.
somebody has to be watching me real closely, because I just got here like a week ago. I just literally landed.
Oh,
and
this
I
is juicy.
Yeah, I just got an email like, oh, are you available September 12th to do Netflix The Joke Radio? And I was like, absolutely, but what the fuck? But I realized in April, because I was going back and forth, in April, I had done a show at the Hollywood Improv. It wasn't, you know, when I do a lot of shows, but not all of them are like super packed out. So this show, you know, only like maybe 5 or 6 people came to the show. And, you know, I was feeling down on myself.
Shout out to those people.
And my manager, my ex-boyfriend, and my friends, 2 friends, and these 2 random people in the back.
Amazing.
Just 2 random people.
Sounds like a nice house to me.
It was fine, whatever. I do the joke, and I was like, you know, for me, as a comic, you didn't sell out the room. So like, I failed. Oh, my God. So I asked when I got to the theater, I was like, how did you guys find me? Like, oh, we were at your show in April. Those other random 2 people. Wow. And I was like, what the, like, to me, like, you're over here beating yourself up because you didn't sell out a whole thing, but the people that were supposed to be there were there. So I did a recording for Netflix The Joke Radio. It's on Sirius XM.
That's so great.
We're one step closer to the special, but I just want to let you know, photoshopping has worked. And,
oh my gosh.
And it's so funny
guys.
because like these people work there. They see me photoshopping April Fools, like just back to back. And they're probably like, wow, this girl's a maniac, but we love it.
It's so great.
Yeah.
It's like your thing, and people, you can get caught up in the lies. But then that's the fun of it.
I'm a comedian. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's hard because I'm like, what part of like, why do you believe everything you see on the internet? Everybody's lying. So like, part of my comedy is to be like obnoxious. Like, but to the point of like, I'm showing online, it's like, I'm showing you like how ridiculous you are. But now it's weird because all the lies are becoming true. So like, I just did Angela Yee's radio show Way Up.
Yes, you were on Power, right? You were at the Power Station.
I didn't know it was on the radio. I thought it was just like, I thought it was a podcast. And she's like, no, we're on 44 national syndicated markets. So I learned about not cursing. So that's something I'm working on for the radio. But she was so nice.
Well, this episode with the suck my dick messaging,
Yeah,
that's really not on, we're not on our way, right?
Is that cursing?
Dick, I think, is a curse.
They have
unless you're addressing a man by the name of Dick.
No, they have a button that they press.
Okay.
And I learned about the button. But yeah, like it's just been nice to see all of these things come to fruition.
Or Dick's Sporting Goods. If you're referring to Dick's Sporting Goods, I think it's allowed.
Well, hopefully they sponsor. I need to have a sponsorship with them. I use the word, yeah. But yeah.
I would love to be sponsored by Dick's.
Right? It's just been nice to see all of these things come to fruition, but it doesn't change, like, I don't want to be like, it doesn't change. It really doesn't change me because, like, I still have to make sure my craft is good so that when people come to my show and when I do create a special, hopefully in the next, like, year or two, you know, I want the special to really mean something. I don't want it to just be, like, a recorded comedy set. I want it to be, like, a cultural moment. Like, this, like, I remember when comedy before I was in comedy, I remember like when Kevin Hart would drop a special or like Dave Chappelle. It's like, this is a culture. It was such a cultural moment that it was bootlegged.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like, I don't think people are bootlegging anymore like that, but like I need it to be like that. Like it's like, yo, like, did you watch this special? So I'm figuring it out. I still have work to do. This is just things that help me. Whenever I get a new credit, it just helps me move a little bit more freer in the industry and open up opportunities versus like me getting in my head like, oh, I'm on Netflix now, which I'm sure people would have. It's it's an opportunity I'm grateful for, but like I still have work to do.
I want to shout out to your communications with the universe because you also put out in the universe that you wanted to do a show at the United Palace.
I did.
And that happened.
I don't play with that. I don't play with the things that I want to do. I'm so serious. I'm doing a special. The United Palace thing happened.
You're going on
I will
tour.
be selling out Madison Square Garden one day. Like, I'm not playing.
Okay, well, you're going on tour in 2024. Let's talk about that before we get to this quick
Oh,
game of
I thought you
Get
said before we
Loud.
get to my boots. Sorry, because
The boots, I
Yeah.
mean, are they on camera, Kaba? The boots are on camera?
They needed
Okay.
their own moment. These are. Wait, can I explain why I bought these boots?
Go ahead.
These are my Hollywood boots.
This is the show
I did my
never
Netflix
ends.
thing recording with these boots on.
They're
And
powerful.
they were like, you were funny, and those boots. Like, it was like pow pow. But I bought these boots because I was like, okay, if I'm gonna go to this new state, I need to embrace their culture. They wear a lot of cowboy boots.
Oh.
So I was like, let me do the cowboy boots, but let me play a homage to New York and make sure they're black
Love it.
for that bold attitude. And then this is like the inside, like when you get to know me, it's glitter.
It is all
Yeah.
glitter.
People think I'm a
Aw.
bitch, but I'm not.
You're so not.
I'm
but
not. I do have walls
Let
of
them think what they want.
Yeah, I know, but then it's hard. Like when people don't like you, you don't get jobs, and you're like, damn, you missed out.
Well, you don't want to be around those people anyway.
You're right. That's that advice.
Consider that to be a filter.
I like that. You're
You
right.
have a gift.
You're right. We don't need to. Yeah, we don't need to
Weed
do that.
out those people that you don't need by just being you. And if they think you a bitch, you're not meant to be around them.
I appreciate that. And
Okay?
I'm not a bitch. If you get my bitchy side, it's because you deserved it.
All
Sorry.
right.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Make
This
sure you
is
cut
great.
that.
This is all good.
Yeah.
I would love to play a game with
Let's
you
do
now. Okay, guys. You know I love to play games. Not like, Sarani, like playing games, not like that.
Let's go. Yeah.
But this is a game called Get Loud, brought to you by Tragos. You know Tragos, the
I love
game?
them. I'm a fan. I follow the founder on Instagram.
Okay, shout out to Caro and Herlarious. And so we have not seen these cards before. So there's a timer, which we'll whip out here.
I love that. Ooh.
So there goes the timer. Time is not on my side as usual. Here we go, timer. So we have to get each other to guess these words.
Okay.
It's kind of like Latino taboo. So there's
I hope
two
we're-
sides.
I hope we're good at this, Rachel.
I don't know if we're going to be good. We'll see. There's two sides. So I'm going to give you this side. So maybe 3 or 4 words. Take a whole handful because we
Okay.
might have to pass on a few.
Okay.
I am not looking.
Yo, some of these words, I don't even know them. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's put some time on the clock.
Okay. So how do I
One
win?
day we'll get a clock.
Oh, you're gonna guess the word that I'm describing.
So who wants to go first? You want me to guess first? I'll
you
guess first.
Guess. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put 60 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
And you can't say the words that are listed beneath the word. So
Oh, but-
yeah, it's not easy. It's not
Okay.
easy peasy. So you have to like say words or like do things to
Okay.
get me to guess the word.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, here we go. On your mark, get set, dale.
This is a must order for the table when you sit down.
Wine.
No, it's like a thing that we all share.
Appetizer.
Yeah, but what is the name of that?
Calamari.
The second best appetizer.
Mozzarella sticks.
The third one?
Potato skins.
Come on,
The
girl.
bloomin' onion.
Okay, no, it's a thing that we all have to share. With tortillas sometimes?
Nachos.
No, girl, we are losing.
Guacamole.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Woo. Okay. Keep it going.
Okay. So this girl, some people call Cardi B this from the Bronx. The Bronx, she lost a shoe.
J-Lo. Jennifer Lopez.
No, I don't know.
She lost a shoe in that movie.
No,
Got stuck in the grate and then Matthew
midnight-
McConaughey.
Yeah, that one too. But at midnight, she turned back into her regular life.
Oh, what's her name? Cinderella.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is someone you call all the time with T, like the first person you call when you get good news.
You.
Well, or bad news.
Oh, Mom Dukes.
But what's like the bigger, broader name for her?
A parent.
No, it's like a boyfriend, but she's
My homegirl.
But another
My
word.
girlfriend.
Another word for that.
My best friend.
Yes. Oh my God. How much? I don't think we have any more time left.
It's okay. Don't pay attention
Oh,
to
this
the
is for the
clock.
kids. Every time you get really, really stressed out on when they go to this place, but it's
The
like
playground.
No, it's like after the summer's over, it's the
Summer camp. Wait, school. Back to school.
But what day in the school thing?
I get stressed out around a lot of days in September.
No, but it's like literally like it starts with an F.
Finals.
No, but the beginning. The beginning, Rachel. The beginning.
The beginning of school.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the answer.
No, don't. I like
Okay.
this. Torture.
Okay, so after summer's over, you got to get kids ready for
Fall.
the
First day of school.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Here we go. Time's up.
Okay.
Time is up. How many did we get?
Well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, getting very pensive people to play this game.
No, girl, you said everything but the word.
This is my thought process.
Also, blooming onion. Oh my God.
Shout out to Outback Steakhouse.
I've never had a blooming onion.
It's so unhealthy. Don't
They
do it.
talk about it all the time.
My triglycerides are through the roof right now, so I'm not going to be getting a blooming onion.
I need to go to, where is one? Where can I find an Outback?
You know, they're disappearing, which makes me sad. I don't really see a lot of Outback Steakhouses, and I'm a big fan. You know what I'm saying?
Bring
the Aussie
Outback
trio.
back.
Good day, mate. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh, it's my turn? Oh.
Should we go green or orange?
Orange seems like I'm in the thing.
Okay.
Do I have to say them in Spanish or just English?
So you could say it in either, which is the fun of the game.
Okay.
Right? Okay, this is really fun. Here we go. Oh, timer. And
Okay.
here we go.
I'm nervous.
Okay, this is not the Atlantic, but the
Pacific.
There we go. Okay, so I just won the Bronze Signal Award, but I really wanted the,
Lottery?
but Kevin Hart took home the,
Grammy?
okay, close, starts
The
with a G.
Emmy?
Not the bronze, not the silver, but the,
Gold.
there we go. Okay. Oh, I just said that this is the first thing that you should put on the table when you go out to dinner. Everybody must
Mozzarella
order the
sticks,
before that
calamari.
a libation that I really
Oh,
like.
wine.
There you go. Okay.
Right.
This you see a lot of in LA, but not New York. It's a type of greenery. Wait, wait. I knew you were gonna say that. Okay. They're also in Miami and DR.
Palm trees.
There we go. Okay. This is also somebody you call with the T. And everybody's
Your
got
mom?
her sister.
Your aunt.
Yes. Okay, the bloomin'.
Onion.
This is fantastic. Okay,
went to here.
we're doing really great here. We're in sync. So you just talked about this a lot, like getting a lot of balls, or
bravado.
in Spanish.
Cojones.
Yeah, another word.
You
know,
bolas.
Okay, so the chickens lay them also.
Eggs.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we got all of them.
Oh, let's go.
With some time left on the clock.
That's fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an amazing episode. Glory, please promote any projects you have going on, your handles, anything you want to share, your relationship status. I know you like to also share your Venmo.
Oh, yeah. So my Venmo and Cash App are Legendary Comedian. My Instagram is just my name, Glorelys. Glorelys Mora, Glor. A fun fact, I own legendarycomedian.com.
Amazing.
I bought it when I bought it my second day in comedy. I was like, this would be funny. But yeah, I own that website. It redirects to glorelys.com.
That's so great.
That's our coding background. So my Instagram is Glorelys Mora, Glorelys Mora. Everything I do, I just post it on there. Just click the link to come to one of my shows.
That's so great. I am so happy that you made it here. Thank you for squeezing us in because you're going back. I'm not going to call it home.
I
You're
will
going
always
back to
squeeze
the
you
West
in.
Coast.
The only thing is that I'm trying to do better about managing my schedule. So I'm like, after the 17th, I don't want to work. I need to sleep. Like, I've been traveling every week. Like, I haven't had like a base for like all year. Like, I just been back and forth like a little ping pong.
Yeah, that's funny. You put on, so she puts a great post up on Instagram about where to catch her and everything. And it literally says during those dates, do not contact me.
Do not contact. I'm serious. Everyone loves those. They be like, yo. And some people take it personally. They be like, is this about me? I'm like, no, bitch, this is my calendar.
Yes.
Because I just have people like DMing me like during the holidays. Like it's people that we're friends with, but like, oh, can you do my show? I'm like, it's Thanksgiving.
Right.
Like, just, yeah. But I will post everything on Instagram.
This has been so much fun, you guys.
I had a great time.
Thank you, Gloria. I love you.
And I learned a lot about myself.
Great.
Yeah, I love, yeah.
That makes me feel so good.
Everybody here taught me something today.
That makes me feel great.
Yeah.
The energy here is always going to be that. We welcome the brilliance. Shout out to you, Glory. You are a culture shifter. And so it makes me very happy. It brings me a lot of joy to see you evolving, like I said earlier. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you.
I love you too, Rachel.
Yo, thank you, Herueleros. I love y'all too. Thank you for your support. Follow us at We Are Latinos Out Loud. Give us a call. No big whoop. 978 Latinos. That's the number. 978 Latinos. I do answer the phone when I can, and I'll check the messages as well. You can follow me at Rachel La Loca. Okay, it's Rachel La Loca. And thank you again for your support. Thank you, Kaba. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, John. Everybody in the building, Terracino. And to check out our episodes every Tuesday on YouTube and on all the platforms. Apple, iHeart, Spotify, Pocket Cast, my basement. Okay, come check it out wherever you are. Love y'all. On that note, we out.
The Latinos Out Loud podcast.